What's up, everybody? Specifically, 49ers fans. I'm sorry. This is a safe place. Okay, you've come to a safe place. Vent to me. Okay, let me know how you feel. Because this is the Seth Floyd Show. I'm your host, Seth Floyd Hansen, and we're talking 49ers. We're talking reaction to that Packers game. And I know it hurts. But guys, there's no way you had real hope for this game. There's no way. Let's be real with yourselves. Maybe I'll take a step back. I had hope for this game back before Brock got ruled out. I'll be honest. I had hope in the sense our belief that we could win this game before Brock was ruled out. I thought I thought if you could get a couple Jordan Love turnovers that you would have a chance. But then Brock was ruled out, guys, and there was never going to be enough. As with how bad the run game has been this year, there just was never going to be enough. So anyway, I hope you guys felt today like I did. How I felt today was this was the first stress-free 49er football game I have watched probably since 2020. Okay, that season, which this season feels like that season. Since 2020, I didn't have 1 ounce of anxiety or nerves today because I knew what was going to happen. My expectations were zero. We haven't played good at all this year, and then you're going to rule out Nick Bosa, Trent Williams, no Brock Purdy, the most important player on the team. There just was, and you were on the road in Green Bay. It wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen, guys. So I hope you felt like I did. I'm disappointed they lost, but not really because I didn't have any expectations. So anyway, it essentially went the way I thought, but they actually showed more fight the middle of the second quarter through the middle of the third quarter, maybe till near the end of the third quarter. They showed a lot of fight, and they were like kind of getting back in it. And without a phantom, terrible holding call on that kickoff coming out of the half, like, what is this? Why are we rewarding these guys who, like, Saubert has his hands inside. He is driving this guy backwards, and the guy just starts flailing his arm as he gets flat-backed, pancake blocked, and the refs just throw the flag. Like, the dumbest call. You see it all the time. You see it in run blocking especially. You see it all the time where, like, for some reason they think, oh, if you pancake a guy 9 times out of 10, that's a hold. His hands were inside. You were taught from a young age. I've coached. I've played football my whole life. You were taught. If your hands are inside, you're good. The guy wasn't even turned. He just kind of was falling back and had his hand up, and he gets the flag. Like, it's ruining the game. That kind of thing ruins the game. Anyway, I'm not saying you would have won the game with that, but, like, you were down 17-7 at that point. Debo takes it all the way down to the 9-yard line. Like, you're cooking with gas. If you score a touchdown there, it's a 3-point game. If you just kick a field goal, which you were on the 9-yard line, it's a one touchdown game. So it's pretty disappointing. Anyway, they showed more fight in that, but, man, the biggest thing was how many missed tackles. Like, good golly, Miss Molly, what in the world? What in the world? That had nothing. Okay, so Nick Bosa was out. He's been probably our best defensive player, him and Demo, this year. Fred Warner has not played up to his standard after the first 4 weeks where he looked amazing. First 5 weeks looked incredible, and lately he has not played as well. But I thought, okay, like, the Packers are going to Jordan Love's just going to have all day to throw. And that's where you're going to get gashed because the receivers are so fast. And that was not it at all. That wasn't it at all. They actually got some decent pressure here and there. Leonard Floyd had a couple sacks, like, got Jordan Love off his spot. I was impressed by the pass rush without Nick Bosa. But it was the tackling. You could not bring Josh Jacobs down. Definitely not in the first half. They tightened it up in the second half, at least, through the third quarter. But that was pretty shocking. Pretty shocking. You guys, your back is against the wall. And that is the defensive performance you rolled out from a tackling standpoint. Just atrocious, man. And I don't know. I mean, tackling, like, that's a hard thing to pinpoint. Maybe you're not being as physical in practice, which is a very likely thing. You're scared of injuries, so you're being extra quick with whistles. No one really tackles to the ground anyway, but I don't know. I'm not in there those practices, obviously, but there's drills you can do to work on tackling, and whatever it is, they need to do it. They need to work on it. But in a bigger picture, grander scheme, like, this is pretty damning on Nick Sorensen. And I don't know, man. I think he's got to be gone. I wish Kyle would make a move in season. I wish he would do that with Brian Schneider, the special teams coordinator, too. But it's more than just, like, guys are out of position, it is like uninspired, not playing hard, which that falls on the head coach as well, but it's really glaring on the defensive side of the ball. Okay, the offense, I felt like played hard and played with heart, but man, they made a lot of mistakes, a lot of penalties, a lot of holding calls. Dominic Pooney, three penalties in the first quarter or first half, like crazy stuff like that. But I feel like the offensive side of the ball is at least playing hard, given the circumstance that they're in. No Ayuk, no Trent Williams, no Brock Purdy, like, good golly. And look at, like, you guys can complain and cry all you want about Josh Dobbs not being in there. I don't know. My guess is, and I've said this, my guess is Brandon Allen just knows the offense better, and he runs it and plays the offense on time. Dobbs is going to create plays, okay, but I don't think Kyle Shanahan trusts him to run the offense on time. That's just my hunch. Of course, Dobbs is a bigger playmaker, but at what cost? And I felt like Brandon Allen played well. The pick wasn't his fault. That's on Debo, in my opinion. That's on Debo. Of course, the fumble, he slips, and then he's trying to throw, and he gets hit, and the fumble, like, of course that looks terrible. Of course that's on Brandon Allen. That's not on anybody else. That's Brandon Allen. But the pick is not on him. At one point, he was like 14 for 20 with 160 yards and a touchdown. I was like, that's pretty good. Like, that's pretty solid play from your backup quarterback on the road in Lambeau Field. So anyway, whatever. I'm off on a bunch of tangents right now, but I felt like if the offense had stopped causing or committing penalties, the same thing they did in Seattle. Okay, or last week against Seattle, too many penalties. They had a lot of penalties against Dallas as well in that first half where we were losing, and then they turned it around in the second half. So I don't know. There's some sort of discipline issue. But as far as the defense goes, I think Sorensen's probably gone. And let's just talk real quick, bigger picture. I'm rambling. Sorry, so a lot of you probably already left the video. I hope you're still with me. Grand scheme of things, like, guys, I don't think this is doom and gloom as most 49er fans are taking it. You're not making the playoffs this year, though. I will say, I'm going to say this. This is not they're not going to make the playoffs, but I will say this. Okay, that division is so bad. I don't know. I'm recording with my phone, so I don't know what the score of the Eagles-Rams game is right now. But holy crap. Seattle beats Arizona at home in like an ugly game. I think the final was 19-13 or 16-6. I can't remember. I don't know. It was 13-3 at one point in the second half. Like, neither team is dominating. Okay, Arizona just coming off a bye, and that's how they looked. None of these teams look all that good. I don't think you're going to win it because your schedule is so tough. Okay, you got the Bills next week. That's probably an L. That's an L unless you have Josh Allen rust and he throws 3 interceptions. That's an L. And you're probably losing the Lions. I've already gone through all this. You're probably losing the Lions. So that right there would put you at 8 losses, 9-8. I don't think 9-8 is winning the division. I think you got to get to 10-7 somehow. Regardless, what I'm saying is you are going to be, this is not going away. You will be in the mix for the division until at least week 17 because nobody's going to run away with it. Nobody is going to win this thing before week 18. Now, I just think the Niners, I think the nail in the coffin is they're going to lose the Lions, and that will be the nail in the coffin. They can't win anymore. But the week 18 is where the NFC West will be won. So if you're like an eternal optimist, you still have reasons to watch. I don't think the Niners are going to turn it around, but crazier things have happened, and maybe they will, and I don't know. The division's not that good. You're going to be in the mix until you going into that Lions 49ers Monday Night Football game that I hope they flex out because I do not want to watch this team against the Lions. There will be scenarios where they can still win the division, okay? And it will start with beating the Lions. So anyway, that's what I have to say about it. But I don't think this all has to be doom and gloom. Guys, you know how spoiled 49er fans, how spoiled we've been these last 3 years? Like, of course it sucks. Of course it's frustrating that the Chiefs never have this kind of year. But guys, they have Patrick Mahomes, who is going to go down as the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm already calling it. I'm getting on this early. He's going to go down as better than Tom Brady. And of course it's frustrating that, the Ravens seem like they're in the mix every year. But what other team has success just at the top of the mountain consistently? Besides those are kind of the two teams that come to mind. You also have the Steelers that get in as like a 6 or 7 seed every year. You have the Bills that get in as like a 5 seed some years. But like, this is what happens, guys. This is what happens. And it doesn't have to be doom and gloom. I think this offseason is going to be really exciting. I think it's going to be really fun to watch. Okay? They are going to, and this is my hope, they're going to have massive turnover at the coaching, on the coaching staff. That would be my hope. I think that the message has gone stale. I am not in the camp of firing Kyle Shanahan. I've made that clear. If you are, then you're on the wrong channel, because I am not on board with that. Dude has gone to 3 straight NFC Championships games, a Super Bowl. It's going to take more than one bad year that had a lot of injuries, more than that to make me want to fire him. Okay, but I think he can roster turnover, or coaching turnover. I think Sorensen, I just think he needs new blood in there. I think whatever guys that have been around for a while, like, they're just not getting the same production, and something's got to change. And Kyle himself has to change, but he's not going to fire himself. He's got to do something. He needs to take, if this, let's say the season ends and they don't make the playoffs like we all expect, he needs to take a month and just reevaluate and look internally and figure out what he needs to do different. And you bozos out there that are crying because Kyle Shanahan won't get over a podium and say, guys, I made a horrible mistake. I'm really bad at this. I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. You guys were right. I was wrong. He's not going to do that. You don't have to do that. Just because he doesn't grovel to the fans or grovel to the media, begging them for forgiveness or whatever the heck you guys want him to do, okay, that doesn't mean he doesn't take accountability. You have no clue what's going on behind the scenes. For all you know, in every coach's meeting, with the offense at least, and probably both sides, he could be saying, like, guys, I effed up here. I effed up there. I won't do this again. I won't do that again. But you don't know. You don't know. You know why? Because he doesn't have to tell you jack squat. He doesn't have to. And my hunch is you don't get to the place where he's at, and you don't get to have the success he's had without holding yourself accountable. Successful people that get to the top don't get there without doing some internal reflection and changing and adapting along the way. Now, he hasn't done as good of a job of that this year, but holy crap, you guys act like he's the most arrogant guy in the world just because he won't say it over a podium. Guys, he owes you nothing. He owes you nothing. He owes the media nothing. And I'm not surprised he doesn't do that. Like, you guys are just a bunch of babies. If that's you, you're a baby. Go get some help. This is the dumbest thing I've ever. Go be a fan of a different team. We've been to 3 straight NFC Championship games of the Super Bowl. Go be a fan of a different team. I just want to see some coaching turnover. I think Sorensen's got to be gone. Brandon Staley's probably got to be gone. He hasn't been here that long, but get him out of here. Brian Schneider needs to be gone. And then I'm looking at like position coaches. Like, I don't know. I'm not super in depth with all these guys, but just something's not working the way they want it to. I'm going to get more into this as the season winds down for us. I'll get into how I would fix the Niners. I'll go into way more depth. And like draft prospects, I'll get into all that. But the last thing I want to say, okay, for this is this offseason, the number one thing. And this to me is the number one reason that we are in this situation. And I'm not saying it's a couple plays here or there. I'm not saying we got screwed here. That's not it at all. This offseason, I hope they just bring in, between the draft and between free agency, you bring in 4 or 5 guys that can compete on the offensive line and 4 or 5 guys that can compete on the defensive line. Like the first 4 draft picks in this year's draft for the Niners, it won't go this way, but I hope it does. I hope you take 2 offensive linemen, 2 defensive linemen in whatever order. But clearly, we have not controlled the line of scrimmage like we have in years past. The offensive line, like, you can take whatever stat you want and say, like, maybe it looks a little better, but Jake Brendel has not been good. McKivitz, who has improved, he's not getting it done. You are not getting a push on the line. You're not. And Trent Williams isn't playing as well, and you have to start figuring out what are we going to do at left tackle when Trent Williams is gone. So this offseason, that is my number one thing. I hope they sign 3 offensive free agents, 3 defensive line free agents, and then the first 4 picks are all O-line, D-line in the draft. And let's just, because that's what I think if your O-line was playing a little better, the D-line was just playing a little better, everything would look a lot different. That's really how I feel. I really believe that. And that's not, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that to me, like, I don't think the whole thing is about to burn down and come crashing down. I just think the offensive line and defensive line are probably the most important spots on the field outside of quarterback, and it didn't hit this year. It didn't hit this year. And I don't even blame him that much. This is the offensive line that took us to the Super Bowl last year with an improvement with Dominic Pooney. So, like, I don't blame them for thinking, like, let's just run it back. What are we doing? We don't love any of these guys in the draft. Let's just run it back. We got to the Super Bowl with this group of guys before, so let's run it back. The problem is Jake Brendel, it feels like he's taken a step back. Trent Williams missing time in camp, and now he's not playing up to his standard. And McKivitz is fine, I guess. And Banks, I don't think is as good as we've thought. Like, we're just not getting a push on the line. That's killing us. And then, of course, the defensive line. Like, tonight was a shining example. Like, Packers just kind of doing whatever they wanted. Leonard Floyd had a good game, actually, but I'm thinking interior D-line we're just not getting it done. And the pass rush, we need another guy besides just Leonard Floyd, but to bookend with Nick Bosa. Anyway, that was like the rant of all rants. It was not organized. I apologize. I'm not sure. I don't have any stats. Like, what is the point? What is the point? Packers fans, like, if you're in the video, like, congrats. Congrats. You know you were sweating a little bit in that second half, like, just a little bit. That kick return, you were sweating, and then you watched the replay of the hold, and you were like, holy crap, we got bailed out because that wasn't a hold. You know Jordan Love, like, he threw the ball, at least once he threw it. There were 3 plays where it should have been an interception, and none of our guys did. At the end of the first half, Malik Mustafa, should have had the interception, safety coming over. There was a tip ball that Renardo Green should have had after it tipped off the receiver's hands because Jordan Love threw the ball behind him. He couldn't bring it in. And then Jair Brown was in front of the ball, jumped up, had it. There was very close to 3 interceptions there, but whatever. I don't think it made much of a difference. My point is, Packers fans, enjoy it because you are not going to the Super Bowl. You're not. I would put money on that. You're not playing like that. Definitely not playing like that. You're not beating Detroit like that. Detroit is the only team in the NFC that can get it done, in my opinion. The only way they lose is if they beat themselves and have a 5-interception game like Jared Goff had a couple weeks ago. But they still won, so. Anyway, that's what I got for you. Guys, it's not all doom and gloom. There's a lot of exciting things to be excited about. And if you're eternal optimist, guys, like you're going to be in it. I'm telling you, I'm not. I don't believe. I have like effectively emotionally detached myself from this season, but you get to week 17, the 49ers going into that Lions game, they will still be in it. They will not be eliminated. There'll still be a chance of the division, but you got to get through the Lions somehow. You're going to have to get through the Lions somehow. So if you're someone who just likes to hang on, like I appreciate you, and I wish I was more like you, but I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. I've detached myself. Guys, I'll give you another video this week sometime. Probably I don't know. I don't know if I'll talk about the Bills game. I probably will. We'll see. But we'll see. We'll start talking about how to rebuild the team and what they need to do going forward. But this is what I got for you. Thank you for joining. Guys, it's going to be okay. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, share it with your enemies. You guys are the best. And I'm out.